And we're live.
Live.
We are live. Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome to Sisters United. I am Valerie Jampolsky, the Abundance Mom Freedompreneur from Abundance Now, and I am actually doing this live from Bali. I am here in Bali, and I just apologize in advance if I'm yawning. It's got nothing to do with the topic. I've been up for about almost 2 days straight, traveling with my kids who are like literally, I got it, let's see this, let's show this. They are like passed out. I didn't even get them. They didn't even make it under the covers. We got into the room, they went poof, and I just don't even want to move them. So, but it was amazing, amazing. Gabrielle might pop on. She just landed in Bali as well. Our topic today is the power of reprogramming your subconscious mind. And I'm going to quickly introduce myself. I'm going to go across the board here to everybody else here. I am, oh goodness, where are you? Okay. I am a single mom of twin 5-year-old boys. I don't think I'm going to have any naked kid alerts because they are unconscious over there. They usually are running around grabbing, flipping off their clothes, which of course they did when we first came in the room. They just like stripped naked. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But and then we ran out and did all kinds of cool stuff around this resort. It's gorgeous here, and that's what I do. What I do is that I'm here for this amazing mastermind coming up. I'm here for a mastermind for my kids, and also just have an amazing time in travel. And that's why I do what I do, so that I didn't have to ask permission of anybody to do this. I used to be an entertainment attorney, and I knew that if I didn't make some massive changes in my life, that I'd probably never see my kids, ever. I'd be lucky if I took them in at night. And for me to really be able to just knew there was so much more to me than just pushing papers. I can really inspire people. Like, I love this topic. This kind of thing just feeds my soul. So I am, I wish you could see what was outside my windows here, but a little bit of sense of the place with the decor here. I'm going to pass it on over. Oh, let's see what happened over there. Joan looks like she's off, so I'm going to go over here to Elizabeth. I'm going to bring you up next. Hey, hey, unmute, hun. I had you mute while I had a muting while I was setting up the page. But can you unmute now? See if you can unmute. Nope, still muted, babe.
Yeah, here
Oh,
you
there you go. Yay, girl. All right.
Yeah, but I see everyone out here. Oh.
Yeah, I got you now. We got you now.
Oh, but you can't see me. Can you see me?
No, now I can't see you. I see the beautiful green jacket, but
yeah, that's why. Yeah, I don't know why that is coming. Wait, let me try and see if I can move somewhere.
We had you there for a sec.
Yeah. You know, I'm doing it from my phone. Here it is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, but the camera is facing my garden. Let me give you a second.
You see your trampoline.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here I
there
am.
You are.
Sorry, it took me a while. Yes, I was facing my garden. Can you hear me properly, everyone?
Totally perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, I'm on the panel. I'm Elizabeth. I'm a mom of 2. I have a boy of almost 4 years old and a girl of 9 months. And I'm very interested about the topic of today because it's just really good to be surround yourself with people that have a positive mindset. And the thing is that you never realize that your thoughts actually become things. So I think when we go more into details, it'll be really interesting to talk about also what happened to me this week. I'm really, really excited to share this with everyone. But yeah, I'm a mom of 2. I was a quality assurance analyst, and basically this is my second maternity leave. On my first, I went back to work full-time. My son was in nursery full-time, and the juggling was a lot because obviously when my kids don't sleep, so what happens that a lot of times, you know, whatever I don't see them during the day, they caught up everything during the night. My son does the same, my daughter does the same. Meaning for 4 years I've not slept properly, basically. And then the juggling, the family and everything. So this time when it was time to go back, I just felt it was a bit too much. I didn't want a situation where I don't see my kids at all, and I just spend the rest of my life just saying, brush your teeth, you know, go to sleep. And, you know, I didn't want that. So I had to sit down and think of what I really wanted to do with my life and take action. So here am I today. So I'm going to pass it on then.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's hear your story. I'm going to go back now. Joan's back out, so I'm going to pop up over to you, Joan. You're back.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this hangout. I think this is so much fun. I love how it comes at the perfect time during my day. And yes, this is perfect. I am a stay-at-home mom of 3 boys. And this year we just got done, my husband's in the military, and we just got done with a year-long deployment. And I'm so grateful that I was able to be a stay-at-home mom during this year. I don't know how it would have gone down if I would have had to work and get a job and not be able to see the kids. So it's great to be able to, to live in this freedom and to be able to just kind of travel, do what you want, stay at home with the kids, go off on our adventures. So, and this hangout's awesome. This topic really is really close to me because of the whole process of it and how it just changes your life once you kind of get it, and it's an ongoing process. So I'm really excited to talk about it, and I'm really excited to hear from other people on the panel. So thanks, guys.
Great, and on the panel we have Sheena. You are up.
Hey, thanks, Valerie. Hey, everyone. I know it's been a while since I've been on a hangout. It's just been kind of crazy with the summer. But I'm really glad to be here because this is something that I really really have been studying about and learning why certain things aren't happening in your life. So I'm not sure. Should I just start with the topic, Val?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, a little bit about me. I'm the only one here who doesn't have any kids. But
on tonight.
Pardon?
That's on tonight. Just that's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's on tonight. I have no kids, but I used to work at in a cubicle. I have no sob story like I was a drug addict or I was forced to bankruptcy, but I knew I wanted something more in life, and being stuck in a cubicle for like 12 years wasn't the answer, right? Being programmed to go to school, get a job, and wait for retirement to enjoy your life, wasn't what I wanted, right? And I knew that deep inside my heart that there was more to life than just this, which is why, the sisters, decided to do something different, right? Learn how to, use our talents and skills to live a better life, right? And, there's so many strategies out there on how to do these things, but they'll never work if you are not reprogramming your brain. And this is why we're discussing, how to reprogram your subconscious, right? It has to start with what you're thinking, right? Nobody realizes that your brain is actively working 24 hours a day, even when you're asleep, which is why, if you watch, a lot of TV, if you read all those, trashy magazines, you're filling your brain up with like junk, right? It's kind of like when you're eating, right? If you feed your body with junk, you're going to feel sluggish, you're going to feel lazy, you're going to feel stupid. But if you're going to fill your body with like fruits and vegetables, eating clean, then you're going to have more energy. And it's the same way when you're reprogram your subconscious, right? You got to start doing things like reading every day, listening to positive audio, surrounding yourself with like-minded women like the sisters here, right? Because, I was reading this book. It's called, I forgot what it's called, but something to do with self-talk, right? And you have to think of your brain as your house, right? It's your house, and you have old furniture in your house, right? And this old furniture has been with you for 20 years, right? People are telling you, don't change your furniture, your furniture is fine, you don't need to do anything with your furniture. But deep inside your heart, this furniture is not helping you, it's actually bringing you down. So what's the first thing you need to do? You need to clear away all that furniture, right? You got to take away all the old furniture that's in your house, every single piece, every single part, every single speck, right? And now you have an empty house with no furniture. But see, the problem with that is people don't tell you what do you have to do after you've cleared out that furniture, right? Most people would probably start bringing in all that old furniture back because they're used to it, right? They've been comfortable with that old furniture. Nobody tells you to get rid of your old furniture, like get rid of it for good, get it out of your sight, and start filling your house with new furniture. It's the same concept, right? If you want to start thinking, a more positive way, you gotta start filling your brain with good stuff, right? Start filling your house with new furniture. That's the only way you can start reprogramming your brain. And this is something that you can't do once a week. This is something that you have to do daily and as much as you can, right? Because in business, in life, even if you're trying to get a high position in your job, you gotta, program your brain that you can do it, that you believe in yourself, that anything's possible, because if not, you're gonna, you're not gonna start believing in yourself. You're gonna think, my life sucks. What did I do to deserve this, right? Instead, you know what, this is the situation that I'm in. How can I make this better, right? Same situation, two different perspectives, right? So this is why what you say to yourself, what you feed your brain, the things you see, the people you hang out with is so crucial, right? It's so crucial. If I still was hanging around with my broke friends who parties every Saturday night, that's what my life would be like, right? I had nothing to look forward to except for partying on Saturday nights, and that's not the kind of life I want to live, right? I want to be able to, uplift women, tell them that anything's possible, because there's so many women out there who aren't, who feel like they have no options in life, right? They're either only good to do things like sell their body or just work for somebody. And, that's not what I want. That's not the message that I want to send women. I want to let women know that if you take the time to learn certain skills or learn how to monetize your talents, when you can tap into your own power, I believe women are a force to be reckoned with, because the only way this world will change for the better is when we can uplift women and show them that women are capable to do anything, right? When we can show them that we're independent, we're capable, we have the power to do whatever we want, right? When you see a strong, confident woman, it's inspiring, and other women will follow, right? It just takes one person to change the world, right? I mean, it's been proven, right? I mean, sometimes it just takes one person. Well, what if you're that one person watching this video that can change the world, right? You never thought of it before, but now after watching this, you realize, well, you know what? I can. Maybe maybe I can change the world, right? Because we were all in the same spot as you. We never thought we could do anything like this. We never thought we could learn how to market online and start reading like amazing books that can help our brain expand, right? See see the possibilities out there. So this is why I tell people it has to start with your mindset, because any strategy works. Any strategy works. But if your mindset is like I said, if you fill your house with old furniture, it'll never work, right? You got to start filling your house with new furniture, brand new furniture, something new, something different, something positive, something, pretty, instead of all the old furniture that you've been comfortable with. And it's, and it's, sometimes it may not be our fault, because we've been programmed for the longest time to do certain things. Like, I mean, I'm Asian, right? I mean, as an Asian woman, we've been programmed to, be obedient, go to school, get married, get a job, and work for the rest of your life, right, until retirement. And then, we've been told not to make any noise, right, because if we do, we're considered crazy, or we're considered wild and out of place, and society's going to look down on us. But that's, that was back in the 1800s. It's 2015, right? I mean, we're the modern women. We have to show women that it's okay to be yourself, right? Because when you're not allowed to be yourself, and you're limited to those barriers, then you think you have no other options, and you can't really be yourself. And because of that, women end up, doing horrible things to each other, maybe even commit suicide, because they can't let themselves out, right? They feel like they're trapped in their own body because people are telling them what to do. So this is why you have to start reprogramming your brain. You have to start reprogramming your subconscious. Even if you think that your brain's not listening to the stuff that you feed into your brain, it is. It really is. You just don't know, right? Sometimes I'll just have, an audio that I listen to, and I'm not really listening to it, but I know my subconscious is, and that's the reason why I put it. Sometimes I put, positive audio in my sleep, because even though you think it's not working, it's working there. And it takes a while, it depends on how bad you've been programmed to do, certain things, right? This is why it takes a while for you to reprogram and start filling your brain with good stuff. But if you do it daily, like showering, right, it's gonna be good. But if you don't do it daily, what happens when you don't take a bath every day? You stink, right? So, those are some of the things I just want to share with you. We're here because we want to help you, right? We want to help you learn how to become a better person, be able to live a better life. And we share these topics because we've been through the trenches, right? we've been, through all the crap that you've been through, and we want to help you get past through that, right? We want to shorten your learning curve and help you get, whatever dreams you want in life and start living the life you want. So you can be like Valerie, who gets to be in Bali, and that's like, it's so cute that her son is like out on the bed. So, yeah, that's all I have for today.
Thanks, Sheena. Yeah, they were running and like, poof. I was hoping, let me just burn them out so they would like totally unconsciously come up here. I love it, Sheena, so much you're talking about. I'm going to pop out with stuff while my head is still. Ladies, you have something you want to jump out? First of all, you know what? Before we even go there, let's go. Can somebody look at the page? I totally forgot. Can somebody look at the page? Open up our chat. See if you guys are chatting to me. Oh, you go, yes. Yeah, sure. Can somebody look at our page and see if we've got anybody commenting, saying hi, hello? Just want to shout out to.
Yeah, Elizabeth is saying hi to all of us. From Pennsylvania, USA.
And anybody, when you're watching, because I know there'll be some of you watching this in the replay, just know that our intention, our energy is with you live. We are here. It's as if you are here with us. It's as if you're here with us live. It's kind of a wild thing if you think about it. We are literally all over the planet right now doing this hangout. And time, space really has no meaning. So feel free to jump out, comment on anything that we say, and you are really actually live as part of the conversation. And in terms of our energy, and it'll, I know when I've ever watched anything in replay, and I've known that was the intention, it does feel that way. So anyways, just going there. Quick, I'm gonna hop out on something unless you guys want to hop in on anything you read up first. And for me, it's well, you covered so much stuff, Sheena. I've used. I've done a lot. For those of you who've worked really directly with me, I work a lot with uncovering, not just uncovering what's going on in the subconscious, but really digging in, really transforming, and the power of what that can do. I mean, I've done some serious manifesting by working with programming something different into the subconscious and allowing to release things that might be in there as a group that we don't even know. I attended recently. It was oh my God, Bruce Lipton. I don't know if you're familiar with Bruce Lipton. He's quite famous, and he's someone who is a scientist, really, a doctor and a scientist, and he did this whole session where he did a lot of research on what is really going on with the mind and the subconscious. And one of the things he was talking about was that what happens if you think about it when you're driving, right? Who here has ever noticed that you kind of got somewhere and you have no clue how you got there, but you were just kind of like on autopilot, getting you someplace that you maybe driven to before? And you guys, yeah, Joan's nodding her head. Yeah, it's kind of scary if you think about it, because you're driving your kids and you just end up somewhere. But we do a lot of things subconsciously. We don't have to think about our breathing. We don't have to think about our heart. But a lot of other things go in there, and they're patterns. And what happens is, if we're thinking about something else, because we have the ability to think outside of our current circumstances. It's one of the things that's amazing about us as humans, is that we can do that. But the thing is what he was talking about is when you're thinking about something that's not in connection to your current circumstances, oftentimes really, we're operating subconsciously. A lot of things will happen. So, our subconscious patterns will come up. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Driving, it might be a really good thing, keeping us where we need to go safely while we're driving. It can be a bad thing when we don't even realize how we're communicating with people. It's just habits of thoughts that have just created almost like a groove of a pattern. And the good news is that it can be totally reprogrammed. And I guess they've done all these different studies on how not only can it be reprogrammed, but that the positive is much more powerful than the negative when you can throw it in there. And I didn't know. It was interesting just seeing the science behind it. It's just always intrigues me, because I just operated from just experience of it, where whenever I've gone through some serious manifestation mode. And what I've always done is allowed myself to open up and just ask a question when I have a goal set in mind. You know, what did I do to make it happen? And I mean, I know there's all kinds of theories about whether you're thinking, about, whether you're about experiencing something in the present tense or not in the present tense. I think the most important thing is taking action. And because I know Dee's, and I'm digging more into Dee's done all this NLP training recently that had a very powerful effect on me at this recent Women of Bliss event. But it's this whole idea of that I discovered that when I would open up and say, okay, I'm going to take action on this, what would happen is the moment I made a choice to do something that might have been outside of my previous comfort zone, and I wasn't even aware of it until I'd gotten it on paper and said, okay, these are the things that I did to make something happen before it even happened, and then I chose what I knew was that I was going to take action on those very things. Fear, all this stuff, just like, how can I possibly, that person, I couldn't do that. All these negative thoughts that I didn't even know were like there. The moment I went to go past my comfort zone, whoosh, up they came, right? And for me, the most powerful, Gabrielle, she's on. Like, I see her coming in, she's coming in. The most powerful thing of how that happened, of what happened with that, was becoming aware of the fact that I even had these negative thoughts, right? And then the next step, going, you know what? They're having this conscious awareness for once in my life that it's not really me. Not buying into those negative thoughts, because where it develops a negative pattern is if it was when I would do it, when I would just react when I would just automatically react negatively to it emotionally, to whatever the thought was. Like absorb it in, not even think about it, just go into the negative space of it, and then take action from there. Whoop, she did it again. I hope she comes back in. We see her coming in. She's zipping in. I'm gonna just stop if she can actually come out. But yep, Gabrielle, you made it. You made it.
Hey, my headphones aren't working very well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can totally hear you. Are you at the airport?
Cool. Yeah, I just arrived in Bali.
I was thinking about you, so I was
cool.
I hope you can get access. I was checking, going, yes, there's Wi-Fi there, Yeah. Yay!
Oh, it's so cool. I'm just waiting now for Sarita because we're on separate flights, and then we'll go back to the hotel. So.
Oh my God! So just
awesome.
to catch you up briefly. So Gabrielle, let everybody know who you are for those people that might not know who you are. That's hopping on for the first time, and then I'll tell you what our topic is.
Cool.
She's like, I'm coming on.
So yeah, I'm Gabrielle Morrison, and I live in Perth, but I've just arrived in Bali for a Bali mastermind, which our team is holding. Really exciting. I have 2 children, 2 and 4, and they're actually joining me in 2 days, so I'm so excited about that. It's the first time my family's been able to come to a mastermind, so it's really big for me. I've started this business to be home with them and to live a freedom lifestyle and, just change our life basically, and it's so happened. I wasn't expecting this to happen, and it has, and it's so awesome. So yeah, that's why I'm here. And what's our topics today?
Our topic is the power of, what is that exactly? The power of overcoming our subconscious. What was the exact wording of it? I forget, Joan. You even know what I do. Overcoming our subconscious thoughts. Was that what it was that we came up with? Exact wording. I forget what the exact wording of our title was.
Discussing the power of reprogramming your subconscious.
Reprogramming your subconscious. There we go. The power of reprogramming your subconscious. That's our topic. That's our topic. You want to jump in on it while you've got a connection? I just want to grab you while it's working.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about it, but so I'm thinking like those kind of bad thoughts that I feel now are really coming from ego, from fear. I try so much to live from my heart instead, and I constantly have daily audios, inspirational. Like at the moment, I'm really into Wayne Dyer, so he's on every day at my house. So I'm just constantly hearing good things to inspire me to keep doing what I'm doing. Like I posted a video earlier about having those, when you have those good feelings, just to be able to keep them going.
Yeah.
Fun, and it's sometimes really hard to keep them going because other influences come along in life, and these bad thoughts that we have in our head, and we have to find ways to block them out, so we can keep on and keep going and keep living the life that we want. And I feel that life that we want is our soul speaking to us, like our inner self, showing us the direction. But I think we're so kind of programmed not to listen to that because we have so much fear around. I'll leave it at that for now. I just had a flight.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. I mean, it really is. It's like you so much that you just sort of threw out there in that, what you just came up with. It's true what you're doing, having the audios going all the time. I know Sarita does it all the time. She's like falls asleep to this stuff all the time just to keep that positive feeling going. It's a challenge when stuff happens, right? It's a challenge, and the more that we do it, the more the positive programming, overcomes the negative, and you're living proof of what good that does, So it's a cool thing.
Well, I think we all are. I think we've all come to this, and
yep.
It's not your average 9 to 5. So it's something you're stepping into the unknown, and it's scary at first because generally you don't know anyone that's done it. So you're really reaching out to trust yourself, and for some reason that seems to be hard in this day, But we really should trust ourselves,
Yep.
We put ourselves here.
Yeah.
We chose this life, so I'm sure we know how to guide ourselves too, but we forget that.
It's true. So true. So true. Joan, Elizabeth, you haven't had a chance to hop out yet.
Sure, I'll hop out. I think I'm going to piggyback on what everybody else has been saying about the subconscious, because we have all been programmed through experiences or through with our family or just, our culture. We have so many, we attach different experiences to maybe something negative, and then that programs your mind into fear or just kind of any kind of negative thoughts. And like Sheena said, you have to kind of move all the furniture out of your mind to be able to get something back in. And I've been reading over and over again and listening to over and over again Napoleon's Think and Grow Rich, and there he has a whole a chapter on the subconscious, and it finally clicked to me probably about a month ago that you really have to work on it, kind of like, what Sheena says, if you don't work on it every day like you shower, it's not gonna be as strong, or you're not gonna be shining bright because you haven't showered in a while. And also it's kind of like a muscle, like you have to work out, you have to work at it every day. And I've been, like you said, listening to audio, reading books. Anytime I have a moment, even if the kids are playing, I'll put on something, even that they can hear it. Or if I'm cooking, I put on my earphones and I have my phone, so that you're constantly feeding positive your subconscious mind, because that's how you reprogram it. And it'll take time. And the more you put in, I think the faster that it will reprogram itself. And also just I think one of my things was allowing that to come into, to allow yourself to receive it, so that that it will soak in, and that will become your subconscious. And I've kind of been tracking it, like, hey, does this, because at first I'm like, hey, does this really work? Like, come on, it sounds too good, it just sounds kind of weird. But I'm noticing that it works, that it so does work, because you'll notice that, my kid will spill the milk, and a few months ago I would be outraged, like, this is so overwhelming, I can't handle this, and blah blah. But now the kid spills milk and say, hey, it's okay, it's all good. Like, it's actually pretty funny. What do you think of that? So then you kind of keep that, once you have that feeling of, hey, it's cool, it's okay, and you can laugh about it, and you can love in these crazy moments, and then you kind of carry that on, with other situations and throughout your day when something doesn't go right, and it's just a better feeling, and it's actually really healthy for you to. I think I read somewhere that having these good emotions, these positive emotions, keeping that negative out is actually really good for your health, and it'll help you in the long run with your health. And as you age, your body's supposed to age, but when you have such a positive outlook, when you have such a strong subconscious that everything will be fine and that you're happy and you give love, then your body won't age so fast. So I think that's really cool. And like what the other ladies here have been saying, you listen to it as much as you can, read as much as you can, and then also try and teach other people to what you're learning, because that's a whole part of the process. I try and teach my kids, hey, if they are having doubts about, if they can't do something, you can tell them, hey, this is what you're going to have to tell yourself if you can't find a toy. Say you will find the toy. And eventually they find the toy, and it's hilarious.
I love it.
So yeah, and then I've, since my husband's been back, he's been back not only for a few days, he's been in Africa for the past year with the military. And so, yeah, I'm trying to teach him what I've been learning, and it's part of the process, and it's great. So you'll notice that you've changed when you think of a negative thought, and you can turn it around in an instant. Or you can think it in a thought, and it's out your head. So, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. So that's what I have to say about the subconscious. And it's like Valerie said, I think, Valerie, you're such an inspiration, because it's so easy to you, and you make it and you teach it so well, and when people look at you and they see that divine in you, I think that's amazing. So, thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Joan. You're so sweet. You're pretty eloquent yourself. I love your stories and analogies. I really do. And I mean, I remember that the first time. Actually, I was so fat I was laughing. Oh my goodness. Today, on the way here, he's going to kill me for this later. Hopefully he'll never see this as an adult. Okay, Jordan, I'm sorry. On the way over here, coming back, it's a long day traveling with these guys. It was a long day. And at one point I'd have the taxi guys stop so that I could get a SIM card on the way back from the airport here. And Phil had said to do it, Gabrielle, so I did. I'd pull over, and I guess, it was Jordan had been sleeping. We pulled him out to go get the SIM card. He didn't tell me. He felt, for some reason, it was so much, he was disorganized, he just started to fall asleep. And he's 5 years old, and he pooped his pants. And it was like everywhere, and you could smell it in the car and everything, and he hasn't done this in a long time. And I was actually blown away by my reaction to it, because I didn't, even though I was, tired and everything, it didn't faze me. It actually didn't faze me. And when we got back here, we finally got up to the room. I just sort of like stripped him, had to like de-poopy everything. We spent about an hour doing that. But it's a powerful thing when you can make that shift. And so I'm definitely not perfect, and stuff still comes up. And this is I love this. I love our community. That's another thing I'm just going to say, is you stay connected with community, because no matter where you are, there's like levels and layers of stuff, and just being connected to this and reminders of different things, it really helps. It's a huge, powerful, positive, powerful piece. So for any of you that might have just, this is your first time connecting with us, or you've been following us for a while, if you're still watching us at this point, there might be something that's really resonating with you. A great way to connect with what we're doing is just right below. But I'm going to pass it on over to Elizabeth. Come on out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, me. Yeah, here am I. Here. Yeah. Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So, it's been a very interesting topic, because what I found is a lot of times a lot of people don't know about this stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened is that a few years ago, for some reason, there was a lot of negativity coming up around my life. So, you know, the news, especially the news, and, you know, people being scared of living and, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So when I had my first child, I was kind of all right. But when I had my second, it's like, oh my days, I'm living in this world, I'm putting my kids in this kind of world, you know, and it started becoming a really anxious thing, that every night I would dread it, you know, and I would just feel really uncomfortable. I'm very conscious about the negativity around. So things first, what I decided to do is block all the news. Block all the news. I've not watched news for like, I don't know how long. Block news. And another thing I did is, obviously, when you have social media, even though you block the news, it still finds a way to filter for some reason. So I also managed to block that. So if I see you keep sending something negative, I kind of like block that as well. And I saw that my mindset started changing a little bit. And then when I discovered this group, I think that is when I made the massive change, because I think one of the first things that I read was something called The Secret.
Yeah.
And it was saying that basically what you think actually becomes reality. So this for me was really, really powerful. And then I started looking into things like the law of attraction, and I started, you know, listening to daily audios, first of all, and then I started surrounding myself with people that, you know, want to reason like me, or even much better than me, because I think it's always better to surround yourself by people that are even better than you, so that you can look up to them, copy them, and follow them. So what I started doing also was started to being grateful. So I remember in the last in a few hangouts back a while ago, Gabriella was talking about little wins. So it's like having a list of like positive things that happen to you during the day, and you realize how lucky you are, and actually that life is not that bad at all. So being grateful for what we have obviously helps a lot. And then the big thing is surrounding yourself with people that are very positive. And this is what I found a lot in the group. It's not only business, but it's 90% about mindset, about you know, the way you place your mind, even because it's as if negativity attracts negativity. So, and it happens. You start thinking of something negative, and then the next thing will be negative, and then it just follows, and it just follows, and you just can't get out of it. So what happened to me this week was, obviously I had a situation. I'm on maternity leave, and I'm due to return to work in December. So I've been trying for the past week to sort this out with like my HR, and they've been really negative about the whole thing, because they're like, you have to pay back your maternity leave and things like that. We're talking about maybe roughly £17,000 or something like that, or you have to pay it back and blah blah blah. So what I did is that I didn't want to focus on what I didn't want, rather I focused on what I did want. So what I did is that I was reading, and what I also recorded myself living in the future the way I would want things to happen. And obviously my day job, my ex-day job, was not in the equation. So I kept this positive mindset, even when I went to speak directly with my boss and everything was always negative. I still stayed positive, because, you know, I knew what I've asked for, and I knew it would have happened. And then suddenly, you know, I received a phone call, and they said, well, yeah, that's fine. You can resign, and you don't have to pay anything back to the company. So, I mean, this is the first time that I've actually practiced the law of attraction, and it blew my mind away completely. It blew my mind away, because it means, you know, I can ask for anything and I can receive it. Sorry, someone here is pulling my hair.
Oh, no, your baby agrees. Your baby agrees. You agree? You agree?
My 9-month-old, she's keeping me very entertained at the moment. But yeah, it's blew my mind away, and I'm very happy that, you know, there are people around me, because if you tell someone, oh, law of attraction and this kind of thing, they'll say, oh, what's wrong with you? Are you, you know, on on some kind of hippie drugs or something? But, you know, it's nice to talk about these things with someone that understands. And if I'm in the like my team, if I'm saying, oh, I'm having this day, they'll say, no, don't say that, remember law of attraction, be positive. I know, it's just uplifting, and it's brilliant. It's really, really good. So I think on a practical level, surround yourself with positive people, eliminate toxic people, negativity around you, and then when you think of yourself, think as if you've already achieved that thing that you want, even though it's still not there. But if you start thinking that you've got it, then eventually you will get it. So yeah, that's it for me.
Elizabeth, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh, did we just lose Gabrielle? I think so. Joan, Sheena, I'm going to hop out on any of this. You guys are muted, unmuted.
I'm here.
Okay, cool.
Are we? Sorry, I totally lost what you said.
I thought you had a comment on it. Do you want, Sheena? Can you take a look, see if we've got any comments in the chat on anything on this?
Yeah, I'll check it out. One sec.
Yeah.
Just more highs from Elizabeth, and she also said, this is something I'm struggling with a lot right now, which is why I'm watching rather than participating.
Well, Elizabeth, I believe in you. I know you.
I mean,
whatever.
We all struggle with it, which is why we have to keep ourselves, in a group where we can empower each other versus bring her down, right? I mean, she's with us for a reason.
Yeah, it's not about perfection because it's a process. I mean, I remember I was going to say, came back to it, I was falling asleep. This is the thing I was going to talk about. For me, the most powerful, I love this, Elizabeth, what you said, as you were going through this, you did all this stuff, and the most powerful thing, one of the things I learned the very first time, and I keep to remind myself to come back to it, is that when and I think you talked about this, like you specifically with people that come up with negative stuff, in your environment, you can actually see it in Facebook or in emails. But for me, it was even more deeper. It'd be like thoughts that would just come in, and that because I had such a negative space. I mean, my goodness. For those of you that don't know my background, I mean, my first suicide attempt was at age 10. Okay, and I'd made many attempts in my 20s. It was just, the negativity ran extremely deep, and how I'd taken in so much and just had lost touch with who I really was. I mean, that was the thing, and I bought into, when the thoughts would come in, I never questioned a negative thought. I just would get depressed or upset. I would just allow it to work on me and not realize that it's not even connected to reality with a capital R. It's just coming from people. I may have heard it or picked it up somewhere, people who have just really, frankly, lost the connection with who they really are. There's the possibility we're spiritual beings in a physical body here, and it allows us to, unfortunately, we can buy into the illusion that we're separate when we're really not, just because we have separate bodies, but in essence, who we really are. And I would just buy into anything anybody would ever say, and just started to replay the tapes over and over and over inside of me. And so for me, one of the biggest things was when something came up, to allow myself, and again, because I was in community, I was listening to the audios, I was reading, it was like my community was the audios and the books and the people. It was just like, it's a combination of it all. And it builds up to the point where I could actually have the conscious awareness and the understanding that when a negative thought popped up about how I couldn't do something, or something wasn't work, or everything's always screwed in my life, or like crazy stuff, that it was not real. And that it was just literally, it's like, your mama says, don't pick that up off the ground, don't pick up that thought, you don't know where it's been. And for me, it was just so powerful to not only release it, but it'd be like to get excited by the fact that I noticed I'd had a negative thought. I don't know, this might be getting a bit too deep for some folks, but for me it was a big deal to get excited instead of just, because first I was just in reflex mode. I didn't even know what I didn't know. I just would have the negative thought, I would get pissed, I would just get depressed or sad or angry or whatever it was, right? I'd just react into it. Then I became aware of the fact that I would have the negative thoughts if I started to become aware, but then I would get pissed at myself for having had it, or pissed at myself for, and this Elizabeth might register because I know how positive you can be, that pissed at myself for having gone down a negative path for like an hour or a few hours or a day or whatever, right? Because it can become reflex reaction. And I would then notice, oh my goodness, I just went down that rabbit hole again. And for a long time, I would get upset at myself going, I should be enlightened. How come I'm not? How come I'm not flipping right out of it right away, right? How could I go back there after everything that I do? Everything? How could I go into that space, right? Unfortunately, going into that negative is like such a down vibration. If you know, talk about law of attraction, I'd end up attracting you even more of it. So the biggest transition for me was when I noticed that I'd had a negative thought. First I had to become aware. Once I started noticing it, was to get excited by the mere fact that I noticed. Because who's doing the noticing? For me, it's like, how the heck could I notice it if in order to notice it, I had to have separated from it. I was into me. True source, true wisdom, which we all are. True, you know, abundance and resourcefulness and everything else, and compassion, that's all who we are. We just have unique ways of expressing it. And it was just, in order to notice the negative thought, I had to have separated from it. So I'd get excited and give myself credit for the fact that I noticed. And it didn't even matter how long I'd gone down the path. The moment I notice it, I can get excited, which of course raises my vibration up, which then allows, if you want to talk about negative stuff, when we're in our down space, releases toxic chemicals, left and right hemisphere, not talking to each other, frontal cortex doesn't work, we're in our reptilian mind, fight or flight. The moment I raise my vibration, tonic chemicals, because emotionally it's positive emotions come in, left and right hemisphere, talking properly to each other, opens up the frontal cortex, which is all the, you know, that space of creativity and everything else, which as humans is the special thing we've got in our bodies that makes this amazing thing of what we can do in separating ourselves from our current situations and be able to see something different before it even is manifest outside of ourselves. For me, that was the biggest transition. So that it's okay if we're not perfect. It's okay. That was the thing, is because it's all a process, and the thoughts will come in. They'll always come in. I mean, that was a huge revelation for me recently as well, too. I learned a lot of the way I'm talking about this, honestly, Michael Bernard Beckwith, one of the guys from The Secret. I live really close to his facility, Agape International Center, so I can go there in person, and I also watch the live streams. You ever guys want to watch it? But he talks about how even him, and this guy is like about as enlightened as you could possibly see any, you know, of the wonderful people that are roaming around on the planet right now, and the thoughts will come across. And he's like, you don't have to listen to them. And what blew my mind was that the thoughts still cross his mind. He's this amazing guy doing amazing things. A lot of people, they just don't talk about it as much. But the negative thoughts, they just don't give him power anymore, right? But the thoughts come through, or, you know, the emotions even might temporarily come through, and then just the more you do it, I guess it's like exercise, the more you do it, the better you get at it. You know, and for me, the more I do it, the quicker I can pull up out of a place. I might still go down pretty dark. It still can happen, but I can pull myself back up because I know what to do. We have like the formula, you know. We're all told we have 8 core commitments. You know, you read daily, audio daily, stay connected, get to events, masterminds, which is why I'm here. I mean, all this stuff, because it helps that when we're alone, what we can do. And we don't have to be perfect. We can catch it and say, you know what, I may have picked that up, but I might have even licked it. I might have even taken a bite, right? And it was off the ground. I was like, but it's okay. I'm back in my right mind. Oh, and I can just let it go, right? So anyways, that's just my two thoughts on it. Elizabeth, Joan, you look like you guys are like ready bursting to come out with something. Who wants to?
No, I just wanted to tell you, I totally agree with it. It's what you're saying about what people say to you or what the thoughts that come into your head. You have the ability, you have the control to either let it affect you, let it pass through your head, or just totally block it away. So and you have that control and you have that power. And it takes practice for you to do that, and you really have to look within yourself. I believe that, like you said, we're all souls in this human body, and if you look at it that way, what is your soul? Your soul is in the likeness and image of your Creator, of the Source, of God, and you have to look at your soul as being exactly that. And to me, just recently, I asked myself, well, if my soul is an image and likeness of God, our Creator, our Source of the universe, would God be playing with, anxiety, worry, fear, doubt, any of that? And so that kind of, when I look at it that way, it's like, oh, well, I need to be, I kind of need to, my subconscious and my soul need to be what that likeness and image of the Creator, of God, the Source is. So I think that's kind of into another topic, but I loved how you pointed out that you have a soul, and your soul is good, and you're just in this body, and you are shedding the light to who you come in contact with. So
Cool. Yeah. It's yes. Anybody? And for those of you that don't work with the word God, universe, love, whatever, semantics doesn't really matter, honestly. What wording you put on it? It's just we are spiritual beings. Sheena, Elizabeth, want to hop out at all?
Yes, I want
I'm
to
here.
say one last thing. Here, can you see me?
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, because someone wrote that they were struggling with this. We are not perfect either. It's an ongoing process. It's not something that comes naturally. So it means it's something that we have to work on it constantly. So there are days where obviously I'm much more positive, and then other days where I'm like, oh, I'm not too sure about this. But then the days when I'm down, that is when I'll focus even more on mindset, reading books, and surrounding myself with positive people. So let's say if on a normal day I do 5, if a day that I'm low, then that day I'll do maybe 10. So it's an ongoing process, and the important thing is realizing what is going on, which is the first thing, and then after that, taking action. But a lot of times you don't even know it's going on, and that's the problem. But once you know what's going on, then you can address it, and then you can just move on and get just better and better and better.
Yeah, and I love that, taking action. Taking action, and not just taking action on the mindset stuff, but taking action on having the trust. Like I think you said, Elizabeth, trusting yourself. Just trusting yourself and taking. I think it was you that said trusting yourself and taking action. And when Gabrielle, before she hopped off, she said, "Living from your heart and keep it really pure and simple." It's just getting back to living from your heart and remembering who you really are. It's what Joe was saying, what Sheena and we've all been saying, really. So. It's so cute. This is a little one there. Hi. So that's it. I think we've gone at this point. I know we started a little bit late, but we'll thank everybody for coming, and we'll stay tuned for next week, for next Thursday. I'm not 100% sure what our timing is going to be, because we'll be in the middle of the mastermind that Gabriella ran, and we're the ones that really, frankly, set up the page on the tech side of it, just saying. So stay tuned with us. It's possible we'll still be able to do it at the same time, 11 o'clock at night. Would be Perth time, Bali time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. But if that should change, just stay in tune on the page, or stay in tune with whoever's invited you to this hangout, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on. And well, have an amazing day, an amazing night.
Thanks, Val. Thanks,
world.
everyone. Have an awesome day.
Bye, everyone.